Good afternoon, and welcome to Prize Giving and Speech Day 2020. Ordinarily, we would be coming together in the Hirst Centre today to celebrate the many and varied achievements of the whole school community. However, there is no hiding the fact that this is a unique year, which warrants a very unique event. Today, particularly, we honour all of our school community for all they have achieved over the past academic year, and hope that this Sedbergh's first ever virtual speech day will allow us all to reflect on what has been a most extraordinary 12 months. We hope that through this short celebration of achievement and successes, you are transported to the foothills of the Howgills. As the sun darts across Winder, the curlews raise a cry. We hope that no matter where you may be in the world, you can join us right now to see our vaster prospect and to breathe our larger air.
Honoured guests, parents, Sedberghians, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Speech Day 2020. Not the speech day we had planned to have. This time last year, I had anticipated that today I would be addressing you as an audience in a full Hirst Centre, whereas in fact, I find myself speaking to you from an empty Pole Hall. Some things, however, remain unchanged. As we gather wherever we are today, we celebrate, as we do each year, all that has been achieved during this academic year. Many of us will also be looking forward to returning to Sedbergh in September. As with every year, some of us will be facing the challenges of moving on to pastures new. This horrific pandemic which has swept the globe has brought with it short-term constraints for our school and for the Sedbergh community, and undoubtedly we will see further consequences for some time into the future. Last year, the board published its strategic plan to 2025, the school's quincentenary. This plan will now have to be reviewed in the light of the social and economic impact of the virus on Sedbergh families and the wider Sedbergh community. The Hardship Fund, set up by the school in March of this year, has so far raised an impressive £88,000 and continues to receive donations. This money is being and will continue to be used to support Sedberghian families and other parts of the community. I am enormously grateful to the current parents, former parents, members of staff and old Sedberghians who have contributed so generously to the fund. When the school closed on the 20th of March, teaching and learning moved rapidly to the provision of online resources and support, and this has continued in that vein until the end of the academic year. The response to the COVID crisis by the staff was rapid, inventive, efficient and effective, in true Sedberghian style, and I thank them for stepping up to this challenge. I would also like to pay tribute to our pupils for their continued hard work, dedication, diligence and adaptability. I ask them, whether they attend the senior school or the prep school at Casterton, to thank their teachers and parents for helping them to make such a success of this very significant change. Indeed, I have received many complimentary comments from families about the school's achievements in delivering the curriculum, as well as the diverse daily challenges and maintaining motivation and morale. The Headmaster will say more in his speech later. There are many people who work tirelessly in support of the school. The Sedbergh School Foundation continues to raise vital funds for Roger Lupton scholarships and capital projects. It too is preparing its fundraising strategy for 2020 to 2025. This document will be known as Sedbergh 500 to reflect the importance of the quincentennial milestone of the school. I would like to express my gratitude of the board for their work. The Old Sedberghian Club has again had a successful year, keeping in touch and supporting Old Sedberghians, whether be it in job searches, work experience or social activities. Our partner school in China, run by the Rong Chow Group, continues to flourish in its third year. As you probably know, my term as chairman of the board of our great school comes to an end today. I would like to give particular thanks to my board for their support during my tenure. My congratulations go to my successor, Richard Lethill, who takes over from me today. Richard will be a familiar figure to some of you, as he has been on the board for 7 years, and he has, during that time, taken on many leadership roles. He is an old Sedberghian and was a boy in Winterhouse. He and his board will lead the school through its quincentenary in 2025 and beyond. I've been very fortunate indeed that during my tenure as chairman, I have the privilege and pleasure of working with the same strategic leadership team of the school, and I acknowledge today my deep gratitude for the support of Andrew Fleck and Peter Marshall in their respective roles as principal and chief operating officers, and to headmasters Dan Harrison and Will Newman at the prep school. It has been an honour to work alongside these men, and I thank them for their unfailing dedication, sound judgment and integrity. I also acknowledge the contribution of the operational teams. Their essential work within the school too often goes unnoticed. The common room who teach your children, and some of whom also taught mine and survived, mostly, are shining examples of all that is good about the teaching profession today, and for this I give them my unreserved thanks. Parental advocacy is key to our reputation, and I offer my personal thanks to you, the parent body, for your constant enthusiasm and promotion of the school in your wider communities. To you who have cheered Brown with me on a chilly Sedbergh touchline and in the Hirst Centre, enthusiastically encouraged young talent in Thornley, Hull Hall and on other platforms, or even taken the odd glass or two with me at a school event, I say thank you. All that has been achieved would not have happened without your support and encouragement. And to you, the pupils, never stop trying to do the best you can be, and never stop being exemplary ambassadors for this, our great school. Floreat Sedbergh.
Good afternoon. Chairman, Principal, COO, guests, parents, Sedbergians and Old Sedbergians. It feels very strange speaking to you from an empty poll hall, and I look forward to it being full very soon. I also imagine that I will get a similar response to my attempts at humour from this audience to what I would normally get from a full house. I would like to offer my welcome and thanks to the guest speakers, to Hugh Blair, our inspirational outgoing Chair of Governors, and to Ed Perkins, who is an Oscar-nominated documentary filmmaker whose films have won numerous international awards. You will hear more from Ed later. I think it's really important that I talk to you about the year as a whole. It has been a quite remarkable 3 months, but we cannot forget everything we achieved as a school individually in the first 2 terms, and of course all we've achieved in the last term in the virtual world. So if I begin with academics, after 2 excellent terms in the classroom, this term has been dominated by our rapid shift to remote learning before the Easter holidays. We have been so proud of our pupils and staff in making this switch almost completely seamless, and we have received superb feedback from pupils and parents alike. So, we've had 9 chapel services, 92 virtual assemblies, 105 daily briefings, 1,150 online music lessons, and 8,116 live online lessons. A quite remarkable effort from everybody. And we now all wait in anticipation for Results Day, where we are looking forward to pupils receiving results that will enable them to take places at some of the best universities around the world, including offers from Oxford, Imperial, Manchester, Exeter, Durham, plus 5 offers from prestigious US universities. Moving to drama, our whole school production in the Michaelmas term was Oliver at the Brewery in Kendal, and over 70 pupils were involved. The performance itself was a triumph, with audiences commenting on the wonderful orchestra and performances by our talented young cast. And it's been an especially brilliant year for our musicians. We can look back on highly enjoyable, impressive, large-scale concerts, such as Night at the Movies in October, the Choral Society concert in the Hirst Centre, and the dazzling Jazz and Swing concert. And then came the news that the Chapel Choir had reached the final 5 in the country in the BBC Young Choir of the Year competition, and one which we are so proud of, despite the fact that it was taken away from them by the final being cancelled. We will claim equal first and defend the title next year. In the outdoor pursuits world, it started off in Year 9 with a customary flurry of taster sessions in September, and fun and adventure continued outdoors throughout the year on Thursdays and Saturdays. The D.A.V. award scheme has continued to capture the imagination of our pupils at both silver and gold levels, with numbers growing and expeditions not only on foot, but also on horseback, under sail, and in open boats becoming the norm. Voluntary service. The spirit of giving back is growing at Sedbergh. We had 100 pupils involved weekly in a vast range of activities, from classroom assistants to charity shop workers to helpers in centres for adults with learning disabilities. The list goes on. Sedbergh pupils also launched Eco Sedbergh this year, aiming to raise awareness of environmental issues and reduce the school's carbon footprint. Henry Ackroyd, who left last year, won the Rising Star Award at the Independent School of the Year Awards, where we as a school also won the Independent School of the Year for Community Outreach, an award we're very proud of. Our pupils must think about others, and it's a really important part of their education. And as a bonus, to paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, when we do good, we feel good. Sport, to canter through some of the highlights. On the rugby pitch, our first team had another outstanding season and just missed out on a 3rd consecutive unbeaten one, losing after 46 undefeated matches to Millfield, who were the better team on the day. Our 3rd team, the heartbeat of the club, once again went unbeaten, and we've got some very, very talented sides down the school. Netball, our first team, had probably their best ever year, finishing 10th and 3rd in the 2 national competitions. A brilliant achievement. And the same can be said for girls hockey, the best year on record. Our under-16s lost in the national final to Repton, an incredible achievement, and our under-15s came 3rd in the country. Cricket, our under-15s, way back in September, won the national 2020s, and Matthew Revis made his first-class debut in a county championship match in September, opening the batting for the top county in the country when playing for Yorkshire against Kent. Running, we were second in the English Schools Fell Running Championships, and Fraser Sproul had a remarkable year, winning the National Schools Under-17s Fell Running and Cross Country Championships. And we now have an online running community supporting each other, consisting of more than 500 pupils, parents, OS and staff. International shooting caps went to Daisy Armstrong, Sarah Rorison, Imogen Hunt and Rowan Piper. But equally importantly, we ran 22 different sports, and over 95% of our pupils competed in something for the school or their house. As we went into lockdown, I asked the Common Room to help us become the best school in the country in the virtual world, and they did not let us down. And to you, the pupils, thank you. Although our physical campus was forced to close, our sense of community remained, and we worked incredibly hard to keep that sense of the wider picture of education alive. Through our hashtag Sedbergh at Home, pupils and parents have posted thousands of activities. The moral education of our pupils has continued to be extended through daily assemblies, delivered by staff and pupils, as well as weekly chapel services, which we know have been a great source of comfort for the wider school community, as well as our pupils. We comfortably beat every other school in the virtual race to Tokyo. Sedbergh at its best. We have risen to every challenge thrown at us. As always at this time of the year, we say goodbye to a number of staff, and our very best wishes go to Lucia Sadow, Mark Shopland, Ashley Sudds, Mike Keelty, Rose Chamberlain, Sam Sharma, Andrew Rakes, Emily Knowles-Jones, Alex and Angela Nunn, Ben Davis and George O'Brien. Now I hope you will forgive me whilst I go off on a slight tangent. Steve Jobs died a billionaire with a fortune of $7 billion at the age of 56 from pancreatic cancer. And here are some of his last words. At this moment, lying on the bed, sick and remembering all of my life, I realise that all my recognition and wealth that I have is meaningless in the face of imminent death. As we get older, we are smarter, and we slowly realise that a watch worth $30 or $300 both show the same time. Whether we drive a car worth $150,000 or a car worth $2,000, the road and distance are the same. We reach the same destination. We may conclude, do not educate your children to be rich, educate them to be happy. So when they grow up, they will know the value of things, not the price. And there is a big difference between being human and being a human being. So a few thank yous. I'd like to start with a personal thank you to Hugh Blair. I could not have been luckier to have Hugh as Chair of Governors. He has always been the most supportive and encouraging chairman a headmaster could wish to have. We are delighted that you and Judy have decided to settle in Sedbergh and will be seeing lots more of you. To my senior management team, the Common Room and all staff here at Sedbergh, a huge thank you. To SLT, we have seen a lot of each other this term, every day. And to Andrew, Peter and Will, I have valued your support hugely. The school prefects, head of school and deputy head, you have led from the front with key Sedberghian values such as humility and kindness. A very heartfelt goodbye to our fantastic Upper Six. Thank you for everything you've given to the school, and we wish you all the best for the future. We're always there for you and have a plan for you next year to help you going forwards and to maintain contact with you. As one door closes, another opens, and you will become old Sedberghians today and join a quite superb club. Please come back and see us soon. To you and your parents, you will always be part of Sedbergh School. And most importantly, to you, the pupils, you have adapted superbly, especially those in years 11 and 13, but actually all of you. You have reinforced why this school is so very special. You haven't just got on with it, you've got on with it brilliantly. Thank you. To conclude, over the years, the school has faced many challenges. In 1550, Sedbergh lands were very nearly sold to Edward VI, and the school would have perished from lack of income. In 1867, numbers fell to 13, and we were very nearly taken over by Giggleswick. In the year 1905, there was a series of epidemics. Measles, pneumonia, German measles and mumps followed one another for 4 terms. And in the autumn term of 1918, the school was affected by an outbreak of Spanish flu, usually spoken of as the last great pandemic before COVID-19. Normal activity at Sedbergh was paralysed. Half the staff fell ill with the disease. There were 340 boys on the school roll. 90% caught the disease. Life at school was more or less back to normal by November the 11th, when the armistice was signed. Work stopped immediately, and masters and boys streamed out onto the fells in celebration. And now, in 2020, as a school, we will get through these times and emerge stronger. And I look forward to September and all of us streaming out onto the fells again. I am so grateful for all of your incredible support in this quite remarkable year, and I am so very fortunate to be headmaster of this amazing school. Have a lovely summer. Floreat Sedbergh.
Sounds great. I'll pick you up at the bus station. Send.
Ding.
Sounds great. I'll meet you at the food court. Send.
Ding.
Sounds great. I'll meet you outside Starbucks. Send.
Ding. What have I done? Can't go on a date with 3 people. Oh no. What can I do?
Sounds great. I'll pick you up at the bus station.
Sounds great. I'll meet you at the food court.
Sounds great. I'll meet you outside Starbucks. Sounds great. I'll pick you up at the bus station.
Sounds great. I'll meet you at the food court.
Sounds great. I'll meet you outside Starbucks.
I know what to do.
He knows what to do.
I'll see everyone, but at different times, and then leave them and go see another one. That way I can see all 3, and it'll be okay. I've got it.
Chairman, Sedberghians, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the question. When did you leave school? In 2020. Oh, comes the answer. You're a coronial. You didn't have to take exams. I wonder how you might plan to respond. Perhaps you might mumble, it was all right, because you don't like being labelled. Perhaps more forcefully, it was a very difficult time, and we really missed out. I wonder how many of you might respond, it was an extraordinary time. We were the cohort that pioneered remote learning, and we became more independent, more motivated, more empowered. It wasn't the best thing, but we made the best of it. For generations, Sedberghians have been inspired by adversity. When it rains, we carry on just the same. And when it snows, nothing changes. We continue when the rest of the country stops. What was the rest of the year like? The wettest on record. But that didn't stop us either. The Headmaster has congratulated you on all that you achieved, a list that most schools will never even aspire to, far less achieve. We normalise excellent, and in so doing, become exceptional. So don't be embarrassed if someone says, "You had it easy." Turn this unique experience to your advantage and tell them what you gained, not what you lost. The same is true of school. We have refined our processes and found new and better ways to do things. New people emerged with new talents. And when we come back together, we will be a better school because of our shared experience. But not everyone will return. I join the Headmaster in wishing the leavers bon voyage and expressing the hope that they will return and share their stories with us in the years ahead. And I particularly want you to know that we will be here for you if you have moments of doubt or anxiety in the months ahead when you enter university. Hugh Blair is also amongst those who leave us this year. He became Chairman of Governors at the end of my first year and has been a constant in my work ever since. His record in office has been extraordinary, and his achievements match any of his 17 predecessors. Here is a short snapshot. In February 2013, Hugh merged Casterton School with Sedbergh, and in September that year opened Sedbergh Prep School at Casterton. Carus House was created at the same time, and the Mulberry Bush Nursery opened a year later. After a pause caused by a bachelor badger, construction of the Hirst Centre started in 2017 and opened in July 2018. In September that year, Rongchao Sedbergh School opened in Fuzhou, China. All these are remarkable and enduring achievements. We must acknowledge the developments that have taken place under Hugh's direction. But for those who know him well, that is not what we will really remember. That will be the bright eyes shining below a dripping hat on busk, expressions of constant appreciation at the AstroTurf, and his love of music, the warmth of his relationships, and the generosity of his hospitality. Above all else, I will remember his resilience under fire. He will not miss my texts, which read, "Need to speak urgently," but really meant, "There is a crisis." His has been the measured voice at the end of the phone, and he has always had time to drop in and talk it through. Quick to praise and rarely critical, Hugh has steered with a gentle touch. So we offer him our deepest thanks and best wishes for all that he has contributed and enabled us to achieve. And we look forward to his continued presence in our community. And we must look forward today. A new year beckons. New colleagues and new pupils will arrive. We will have new routines and new opportunities, so you must be ready to adapt as soon as you return. But be assured that one thing will remain constant, and that is our delight in seeing you back at school. I hope you have an enjoyable holiday. Mark the transition from term time to leisure with different activities, so that when you return in September, that too is special, exciting, and precious. Thank you for all your hard work, all your support. Have a wonderful summer.
Hello, my name's Ed Perkins, and it's a great privilege to be able to say a few words to you today. I didn't go to Sedbergh, but I do remember very vividly being in the exact position many of you are in now. It was 15 years ago, but frankly, still feels like yesterday, sitting at speech day, trying to work out what I wanted to do with my summer, with my university options, with my life. It was that strange mixture of excitement, fear, nervousness, and if I'm totally honest, in my case, I also remember feeling as though my options were somehow narrowing, that the university and career paths that lay ahead were somehow already chosen for me. I studied maths, further maths, physics and politics for A-level, and at school I never really showed any creative promise at all, or at least never found a creative outlet that matched my skills. And yet, 15 years later, I've somehow become a documentary filmmaker, almost by accident, with a series of films for Netflix, the BBC, National Geographic, and somehow, although I can't quite believe it, an Oscar nomination to my name. It's a job I'm really deeply passionate about, and if someone had told me when I was sitting where you all are that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, I'd have laughed at them. It wasn't who I was, it just wasn't on the cards. In my case, I ended up taking a bit of an unexpected turn and went to university in America, a decision which widened my horizons enormously and allowed me to eventually find the thing that I now do for a living. And so, if I'm able, what I'd love to be able to say today, and I'm aware this is going to sound a bit cliched and American, but dream big, be ambitious, follow your instincts, dare to find the things that really make you passionate, the things that make you tick, the things that make you happy, whatever they might be. I'm also immensely humbled to learn that a film I made with my friend Cornelius Walker, a film called Black Sheep, has been used at Sedbergh this year as a way of exploring the incredibly important issues surrounding race and identity. It's not for me to say anything more about that specific story because it's very much Cornelius' story to tell and expand upon, and I just feel very lucky to have been a small part in bringing that story to the screen. But I do think it perhaps serves as a small example of what can be done if we're willing to go out into the world with a certain mindset. And I hope I can perhaps offer up a few things that I've learned from a decade of travelling around the world, listening to people from every walk of life tell their stories. Now, I went to a school very similar to Sedbergh. It was an amazing school, and I loved every minute of it. And with every year that passes, I become more and more aware of just how fortunate I was to have been afforded such an education. So we're all starting off our adventures with an incredible foundation. We've been immeasurably lucky. We are privileged. And with that, we all have the opportunity, perhaps even the responsibility, to go out into the world and to try to make the most of ourselves and also to have a positive impact. And while I can't profess to have any specific words of wisdom for how to do that, there are certain things that I've learned through trial and error as much as anything, which I think are a half-decent starting point. Be inquisitive about the world around you. Ask questions, lots of questions. Engage proactively in the issues of our time, and there are many. Stand up for what you believe in and empathise rather than judge wherever possible. And perhaps most important, listen. Listen to the lived experience of others, because it's only in doing so that we can hopefully better understand one another. I'm not pretending this is always easy, but in my own experience, the easy path will often not give you the meaning and purpose and impact that you hopefully will come to seek in your own lives. So I'd encourage you today to be brave in your decision making. The decisions you make about which subjects to take next year at school, or where you might want to go to university, or what you might seek to do as a career. And for those of you who are now leaving Sedbergh, you're at a wonderfully exciting and hopefully empowering time in your lives. It's a time when you'll gain independence and can make big decisions for yourselves. You all have skill sets and perspectives that are unique to you, and I hope you'll feel empowered to head out into the wider world to realise your own potential and, in your own way, to make a difference.